Fair enough. All right, good. So, Ian Masters, welcome, 106.3 The River. How you doing there, sir?
Not too bad, Dimitri. How are you this morning?
Great, thank you. Great. Are you on speaker by any chance?
I am not.
Okay, great. So I got a picture of you from your LinkedIn page. So I'm going to be using that. That was the most flattering that I could find.
I bet.
There are not a lot of pictures of you. A lot of pictures, but there is that one. So I'll use that one since you're not here. And the West Virginia Citizens Defense League Lobby Day is what, February 17? Is that right?
Bum. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. How we doing?
In the bum.
In the bum. Okay, here we go.
Things you can't hide. I want to know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Dimitri live and dangerously local. 106.3 The River, 1430 AM. River Talk 94.9 FM and 100.9 FM. A Dimitri 2020 LLC program. Hey, Alexa, play River Talk. I love that. I just love that. It's so 21st century-ish, as Walker pointed out to me. Well, looks like the Republicans in the state capitol are screwing over the gun owners and the Second Amendment yet again. It just never ends. Yes, and I said Republicans. At least the Democrats are honest about taking away our Second Amendment rights. The Republicans are more devious about it. We have a great guest for you live here on the air. Ian T. Masters III, big deal lawyer. Let me give you just a little bit of his bio. Attorney in Charlestown, West Virginia. Advocate for the right to keep and bear arms, president of this great organization, West Virginia Citizens Defense League. They do great work. It's a nonpartisan, and I do mean nonpartisan. He hates Republicans, well, but he will call out any politician, doesn't matter which party they are. Nonpartisan, nonprofit, all volunteer grassroots organization dedicated to preserving and expanding and perpetuating the right to keep and bear arms in the state of West Virginia. He also serves as a registered lobbyist for the West Virginia Citizens Defense League and has extensive experience in both passing pro-gun legislation and stopping anti-gun bills. So let's talk about the bill in Republican-controlled Senate, SB 96, deadly weapon preemption. So, Ian, what is the deal with this thing?
Well, preemption refers to the fact that state law would control over local government. So we passed firearms preemption back in 2014. It's so that Wheeling or Martinsburg or Charleston could not be regulating firearms more tightly than state law. Before that, we had kind of a maze of any municipality you might stumble through might have completely different rules on carry than other ones. So we had it so that if we're going to have, one state, we're going to have one throughout. And when we passed that in 2014, it applied only to firearms. And what we're trying to do now is circle back and make that address other weapons that folks might be carrying, like pocket knives or even pepper spray. Some of these municipalities are banning. And, within the past few years, the United States Supreme Court actually held that the Second Amendment applies more than just firearms. It applies to other weapons or other instruments or tools such as, pocket knives or pepper spray, these type of things. So we've got certain municipalities like Morgantown, for instance, by a very close reading of their ordinance, it seems as if they ban, and I'm not kidding here, it seems as if they ban any blade-length pocket knife. If you have a pocket knife that is in your pocket, concealed by its very nature, it is an offense and a violation of their actual ordinance. And we're trying to just clarify that and make it so that we have one law throughout the state as to what is or isn't legal to be carried concealed.
Okay, sounds reasonable. So what's going on with these Republicans, including a Republican in Ohio County that, if I'm reading this right, maybe I'm not, has helped to undermine your efforts to ensure that we can exercise our Second Amendment right to self-defense?
Well, we passed this bill through the Senate by a 30-2 margin, which is pretty much unheard of as far as how much support we had, bipartisan support there. Senator Weld, Senator Ihlenfeld, up in your district there, both voted in favor.
Really?
And yes, and when it got referred over to the House, we got referred over for the first time in the history of the WVCDL. One of our bills got referred over to a minor committee called Political Subdivisions. And we had not had any experience with minor committees. We're trying to figure out how they operated, how often they operated. We were hearing, it might not even meet again. It doesn't meet very often. It's kind of maybe a graveyard for bills. So we've been trying to have some communication with House leadership. It's been pretty sparse. Thankfully, in the past day or so, I have had communication with Miss Erica Stork, the delegate out of Ohio County there, that is the chairwoman of political subdivisions. And she does state that they will, in fact, meet again to address Senate bills like ours. We do not have a guarantee they will put us on the agenda, but we have kind of a, we'll see why not, but no actual guarantee that we will be on the agenda.
Well, wait a minute. Let's look at the bigger question here. Have you spoken to the leader of the House of Delegates? Is that Hanshaw? Is he the leader of the House of Delegates?
Correct. He is the Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House,
he has not reached out, in prior leadership, when Tim Armstead, now Justice Armstead, was leader of the Republican House, he would be in close contact with the Citizens Defense League. We would know what was going up.
Right. What's the deal with Hanshaw?
We have kind of radio silence from Hanshaw. He sometimes will talk to the NRA folks, but doesn't really ever communicate directly with us. And that kind of leads to some of our frustration and communication issues, I think.
Why?
I'm not sure. I could not answer that. If I had the opportunity to maybe speak with him, I would maybe ask that exact question. But so what we're looking to do, big picture here, is of course get our bill on that committee agenda. And if it's heard by political subdivisions, we believe we have the votes there. We actually were double referenced, so we would then have to go over to judiciary.
Slow down. Don't the jargon. I'm not good with jargon. What do you mean double referenced?
Double reference means the bill is actually sent to two committees. So instead of having to clear one hurdle with just one committee like political subdivisions, it would have to clear political subdivisions and then be moved over to a judiciary committee. All this has to happen before your bill actually finally receives an up or down vote on the floor.
So what do you think's really happening here? You've never dealt with this before, have you?
No, we've never had we've had double references before, but never to a minor committee that's only meeting, 3, 4, 5 times throughout the entire session.
You trust
the Judiciary Committee, for example, meets every day.
Do you trust her?
I know that Ms. Thorch is not, our issue is not her burning passion. I know that.
Do you trust her?
I tend to believe when she tells me that they will meet again, that they will. I still think we would need to keep the pressure up to get our bill on the agenda.
Did she promise you that she would put your bill up in the agenda to vote on? Did she promise you that?
That has not been promised to me. I'm hearing kind of phrases like, look, there's no reason we won't do it. We probably will. I don't like those words, as you might imagine, in this line of work. But, we're going to have to wait and see. And we're going to be there, Monday for our lobby day. Ms. Thorch has invited me to come speak with her in person that day. And I hope to have some updates at that point in time.
All right. So talk to me about the West Virginia Citizens Defense League, the WVCDL Lobby Day, February 17. You say that's Monday, starts 8 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what exactly is that?
Well, that's our biggest event of the year. So we get all of our members down to the Capitol. Inside the building, we address our group there. In recent years, we've had legislators even coming up to want to speak to our group before we even break up. And we break up into political district, and we have leaders that will take you to your elected officials. And they will walk you in there, and you'll be able to discuss SB 96 with them and why you want deadly weapon preemption and why the Second Amendment is important to you. And it's a really important moment for us. We have, generally well over 100 folks that show up, and that's quite impressive in that Capitol. We get you right in front of your elected senators or delegates and have you have the ability to explain to them that you didn't just vote in November and kick your feet up and forget about this, that this issue you care about this issue, and that you hope, that they're down here doing what they promised you they would do.
Okay. And tell me about the black T-shirts.
Yeah, so our membership and WVCDL has always said we value your activism, your phone calls, your emails to legislators more than your money. But with membership to WVCDL, we do have a black member T-shirt with our logo on it. So that, our members are wearing that at Lobby Day and pretty recognizable. We pack the galleries and the chambers, and it's kind of a sea of black that you see.
Nice.
And I expect that to be happening Monday.
Nice. Did it surprise you that the two state senators from Ohio County, Weld and Ehlenfeld, both very impressive guys, by the way. Have you spoken with both of them, met with them?
I have much more experience dealing with Ryan than Senator Ehlenfeld. I would agree with that.
Yeah, both very impressive guys. They really are. does it surprise you? Because neither one of them, I don't get the sense that either one of them are real strong proponents of the Second Amendment. I could be wrong, but that's just my perception. And yet both of them voted for this thing, and now it's sounds as if it's kind of being buried by Erica. Do you think the fix is in here?
I don't. I'm hoping again that part of maybe our worry here is just again the utter lack of communication. And in fairness to Ms. Storch, she's not the one that should be setting that agenda. It should be, coming from leadership. That's how it has always been in the past. When I dealt with other speakers, they would directly tell me, I will put your bill on the agenda. They give the agenda to the chairperson and they run the bill. As to Mr. Weld and Mr. Illenfeld, I was a little bit surprised with Weld being back on board.
Yeah.
Because if you recall last year, he gave an argument about, really supporting local control and these kind of issues. And that's exactly what our bill is kind of trying to flip in the other way.
That's why with these two state senators signing on to this thing, they can let me play the devil's advocate. Clearly, I don't know. They can say to the voters, hey, we both voted for this. The voters that like your, pro-gun people, we both voted for this thing and sent it off to the House. Our hands are clean here, knowing that Erica and the others in the House were going to actually kill this thing, try to bury it in this nondescript committee. Is it possible that that's what's really going on? Or am I just like this paranoid lunatic?
That could absolutely be a possibility. And I would be lying if I didn't say it's something that hasn't crossed our minds on my board of directors. I don't get the sense that's the case here. It seems more just kind of the craziness of the House at this point that's kind of causing some of the delay and the confusion. But time will tell. If this thing doesn't appear in the agenda, that would sort of lend credence to the idea that it was never meant to move.
Yeah, I'm just so cynical in dealing with politicians over the years that's the first thing I thought of. Is this possible? I'm not making any accusations. I'm not a mind reader. Frankly, I hope I'm wrong. I hope this thing gets through and, God bless everyone. But I just can't help thinking that way because they are politicians. They do have track records. And anytime a politician deviates from that track record, to me, that's a red flag going, wait a minute. He's normally not like that. What's really going on? And again, I just may be reading way too much into it. I'm beginning to think that everything is rigged. I know everything is rigged in D.C. Can you imagine them not even charging McCabe? And now I'm wondering about the same thing here. And anyway, more with our guest, Ian T. Masters, Esquire, with the law firm. Oh, by the way, what is the law firm now that you're with? You moved to another law firm. What is this now?
Well, I'm sort of kind of trying to figure out what I'm up to out this direction. I may well end up opening my own place, as a matter of fact, but I haven't quite got that done yet.
All right. Now, you had lived in the northern panhandle, and now you're being drawn over to the dark side, the eastern panhandle. That's what my sources are telling me. Is that true? All right. Do we blame Miss Eastern Panhandle for all of this? Is she behind all of this?
That might have a lot to do with it, but this is likewise a fine area. I love the state of West Virginia from top to bottom.
Yeah. At least she's more comfortable with the names in the Eastern Panhandle than the Northern Panhandle. So my sources tell me. More with our special, little inside joke, folks. More with our special guest, Ian T. Masters, one of the really good guys, who is with the West Virginia Citizens Defense League. Lobby day is Monday, February 17, 8 a.m. And for more information, its website is www.wvcdl.org, West Virginia Citizens Defense League. If you really want to know what's going on in your world, you keep it right here. 106.3 The River, 1430 AM. River Talk 94.9 FM and 100.9 FM.
Clear. 2.5 minutes.
All right, we're at a commercial break, but we're still live on the radio, Ian. You're also on Facebook, right? The West Virginia Citizens Defense League is also on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So are there other major issues we need to discuss, or have we given the proper amount of attention to this issue? Is there anything else we need to tell our listeners?
One of the things I do want to encourage is, at our website that we keep referencing, we have a place to sign up for our email alerts.
All right, we'll talk about
during
that.
the session. That's pretty crucial because they would.
All right, we'll talk about that. All right, good. That's great. And you're in Charlestown. Is that the name of the place?
Yes.
And that's in the Eastern Panhandle. What's it near?
Not too far from Martinsburg.
Okay. All right. Great. 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 So that's terrific. You got a great name for a law firm, E&T Masters Esquire, you know, attorney at law. It sounds very classy. It really does. Alexa, play River Talk.
No, all you need to do is get an Alexa.
No. They listen in. They listen. I'm a privacy guy. That's never going to happen. I don't even use Siri. Because I don't want people knowing my business. I use DuckDuckGo, and I do that flame thing that burns up all the paper trail, but the footprint on the internet. So I do that. I've got this new email that I really should start using. Proton Mail. It's out of Switzerland, I think. That's very good for privacy because Gmail. I mean, Gmail's just been so easy for me, but I've got to. After the 8 o'clock news, we got Chip at 8:15. I guess we could wrap up with whole Bloomquist and Janangeli Gate.
We got at least one more clip that we can do.
Janangeli Gate. It has a nice ring to it, I would say. So what this guy did, Bloomquist did to Josh, it's just unbelievable. Calling him names and all that kind of. You've never heard me call them names. You've never. I completely disagree with stuff that they do, and I let you know about it.
Yeah.
I don't call them names. I do not call them names. That's like junior high locker room stuff. Some Bloomquist stuff. And he's not like that in person. He really isn't. He is not like that. He's the nicest guy you would ever want to meet. Have you ever met him?
I have not in the weather.
He's a very nice guy. He truly is. But on the air, something he just snaps. I don't know what goes on. I really don't.
Be Sunday with a warmer high of 42. I'm Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Jeff Exline.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Dimitri, live and dangerously local. 106.3 The River, 1430 AM. River Talk 94.9 FM and 100.9 FM. A Dimitri 2020 LLC program. Exclusive interview here with E&T Masters Esquire. He is a big deal lawyer in West Virginia in Charlestown in the Eastern Panhandle. Also head of the West Virginia Citizens Defense League. The big lobby day is Monday starting at AM. Get in touch with them. The big issue here is this bill that is really a common sense piece of legislation, you would think. It was passed overwhelmingly in the Senate, and now it seems as if, Dimitri speaking, not necessarily Ian, that House Republican leadership is trying to kill this thing by burying it in this little committee, and Erica is not saying anything to Ian, saying, oh, yes, we're definitely going to bring this up for a vote. And essentially it prevents local municipalities from taking away your Second Amendment rights. Is that a fair way of saying it, Ian?
Yes.
Okay. And so tell me again about the WVCDL, West Virginia Citizens Defense League Lobby Day, February 17, and also some issue here with email. Is that right?
Yes. So the session, as you can kind of tell here, can get to be really tricky and fluid. And the best way is to kind of stay up to date with what we're up to and when we put out calls of action to contact legislators is either through our Facebook page, which we can be found at the West Virginia Citizens Defense League on Facebook. We've got about 14,000 members on that page. Or otherwise, to go to WVCDL.org, and there would be a prompt there on the page to actually sign up for our email newsletter. And what we do is actually get out newsletters to update you at the status of what's going on, who to contact, who to call. And that's just an important thing to be updated through session.
Okay, great. And let's see, at the bottom of your news release, one news release here, Citizens of Defense League to Lobby Day Group Leaders, talking points. Currently, municipalities cannot regulate firearms thanks to firearm protection exemption, confusing web, okay, blah, blah, blah. At the bottom it says, Montanae Semper Liberi. What the hell does that mean? What is that in English?
That is our Latin phrase in the state of West Virginia, meaning mountaineers are always free.
Mountaineers are always free. Okay, let me just put that on our stream here, Facebook Live. Why don't you just say mountaineers are always free instead of Latin, which nobody understands?
Well, you know how lawyers are with their love of Latin.
You know,
so.
That's why I think you guys get to charge so much money with your
It could
billable
well be.
hours. Well, we speak Latin. We've got Latin too. We don't understand them, so you're going to hire us. I think that's what's really going on with you lawyers and Latin. Don't get me started on lawyers and Latin, by the way. But okay, so that's the name of that too. All right. Now, is there anything? By the way, if they join, what's it cost to join the West Virginia Citizens Defense League?
Our cost of membership is $25 yearly, and that again, some of that goes towards the actual shirts you receive, and otherwise, that goes to an account we operate out of. None of us take any salary whatsoever. Put in a lot of hours as well. My board of directors all volunteer, so we really are able to keep our overhead down and really put every effort we have into again stopping anti-gun legislation and more importantly, actually putting the foot on the gas pedal and trying to pass pro-gun legislation.
All right. Now, I have an awful lot of listeners on all these great radio stations that carry my show, as well as Facebook Live with my friends and the webpage that and now Alexa, play River Talk. So, can my listeners come down there?
Absolutely. If you would like to come join us and you haven't had a chance to actually join the organization, you pick out your favorite black shirt you have and come down and find us. And, I'll slap a sticker with the Citizens Defense League logo on it, and we'll get you in front of your legislators. You can be able to, again, talk to them eye to eye about how important the right to keep and bear arms is to you.
All right. Now, is it important to come with a brown envelope stuffed with cash to talk with some of these legislators, saying, just put down the envelope on the desk saying, hey, I'd like you to really consider this? Does that ever work?
I wouldn't know. With the way we operate, being all volunteer and kind of, not really with the largest coffers of the folks down there in Charleston, I wouldn't know. I could imagine that would maybe make life easier. But
I'm sure it would make life easier for them. But you're not recommending that they try to bribe anyone. Don't bring any extra cash to bribe the politicians. Is that what E.N.T. Masters is recommending?
That is safe to say. I'm not recommending bribes.
Okay. I'm not recommending it either, although I think it probably would work, but that's just me. All right. We're almost out of time, Ian. Is there anything else that we need to say, you need to say to all of our listeners here at 106.3 The River, 1430 AM, 94.9 FM, 100.9 FM, now through Alexa, play River Talk, or on Facebook Live with our stream? Is there anything else you need to say to them?
There's one point I'd like to make, and it's kind of a personal gripe of mine about the Second Amendment crowd.
All right, well, let's do this. We're going to make this will be last word. We're going to do that. But here's what I want you to do right before that. If you haven't already, would you please make sure that your people share this Facebook Live stream with all of your listeners, all of your members on Facebook, wherever it happens to be? If you've not already shared this stream, would you please consider doing that so everybody can hear you? And frankly, maybe I'll get a few more viewers, okay?
We certainly will.
All right, now we're almost out of time. I always give my guests the last word. So whatever it is you want to say to all of our listeners, all of our friends on Facebook, all of our listeners on the radio, but also now Alexa, play River Talk, and all that. This is your chance. The only thing I ask is that you don't curse, but anything else goes. So you got about a minute or so left to tell people whatever it is you want to say, and then tell them what you want them to do. So ladies and gentlemen, one of the really, really good guys that I've had the privilege of interviewing a number of different times from the West Virginia Citizens Defense League, E.N.T. Masters, Esquire. My microphone is yours.
So one of the things I'd like to reiterate is when it comes to the right to keep and bear arms, a lot of times our folks, for some reason, seem to only want to play defense. They wait until bad things happen as they happen, and they sort of will show up and have rallies, and they are always playing defense. And the way I see that, that's an inevitable loss. The way we have done this, we always are on the offense. So this year, red flag or negative gun bills have been introduced, but they haven't picked up any steam because the Bloomberg groups and all the gun control groups are busy trying to stop us. So I really advise everybody to get out there and try to push for these Second Amendment issues. You say the bill is pretty common sense, and I tend to agree, but you still get huge negative pushback. And when they're busy trying to stop us, they have had no time to push for the red flag laws or anything else going on in this state. Now, our organization has never had a single anti-gun bill escape the legislature. We aim to keep it that way. But the way I advise to do that is the best defense being a good offense. So what that takes is you getting involved, getting engaged, getting active. So again, try to check out our website to sign up for the email addresses at WVCDL.org. It will keep you up to speed throughout the session as to who to contact, who to make calls to, who to send emails to. And we really can, we're in a precarious spot, but we really can get SB 96, deadly weapon preemption, to the governor's desk and signed into law. So please check us out. If you can make it on Monday to Charleston, we'd be more than welcome to have you down there. The more the merrier. That's one of our most important events of the year, to show our elected legislators that we mean business and that we have not forgotten about this issue. We don't just vote and then go to sleep. We try to keep their feet to the fire.
Excellent. And when you see ENT Masters, tell them Dimitri sent you. And don't forget, you don't bury the lead. The most important thing is you get a really cool black T-shirt.
It is. It is a fine-looking garment.
Fantastic. Ian, thank you so much for all the work that you do. Please stay in touch. Anything we can do here with Live and Dangerously Local to get the word out. And now we're on Alexa, which is terrific on top of everything else. That would be I'd be happy to help. As long as they carry my show here, I'll be happy to help you any way I can. Is there anything looming, anything else coming up that we need to discuss, like in the next month or 2 or 6 months or anything like that? If there is, let me know, okay?
I will certainly do that.
You have a great day, and give my best to Miss Eastern Panhandle, all right?
I will do that.
Thank you again. If you really want to know what's going on in your world, keep it right here. 106.